talking about here. Okay? We know that volume level flex cloning is the ability to very rapidly create space-efficient copies of entire data stores. We're doing this at a volume level, so we can do it with a LUN that's contained within a volume, or we can do it with just a straight flex ball that maybe we're exporting by NFS. Okay? Obviously, if we flex clone a flexible volume that has a LUN in it, we're going to run into the same LUN resignaturing issue. Okay? It doesn't matter whether we're doing a LUN clone within a volume or a clone of the entire volume that contains a LUN. Either way, that LUN has the VMFS signature embedded in it, and we have to address that. Okay? It is strongly recommended, in fact, even required in VMware SRM environments if you want to do the recovery testing process, so that on the recovery in the recovery site, you can actually create flex clones of your protected volumes, your replicated volumes, and go from there. It's not a free license, but it does offer a lot of functionality. Again, I won't go into a lot of detail, but we lack the VC integration that we've discussed already. Okay, so we can't use any of the features there. Okay, if you're cloning volumes that are NFS exports, they're not going to be automatically recognized and available. You're going to have to go into the servers and add those as NFS exports. Okay, so you'll have to do that on each server as well. So if you have a very, very large server farm, 50, 100 more ESX hosts, and you want to clone out a bunch of NFS volumes, you'll have to script that, or you're going to be typing for a very long time. Fortunately, ESXconfig-NAS allows us to script that from the service console. But there are specific environments where, even with these considerations in mind, flex clones make a lot of sense. VDI is one. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. And again, I'll remind everyone, feel free to stop me anywhere along the way if you have questions. So what about SISClones, or file-level flex clones, as I understand they're now known? Okay? It's a bit early to talk definitively for sure, because officially it's part of ONTAP 7.3.1 and hasn't actually been released yet. But based on what we do know, we're seeing an elimination of a lot of the limitations that we saw around other cloning. Okay? Initially, this is going to be an NFS feature, because we can't today, or at the initial release of file-level flex clones, we don't have the host integration we need to make that show up in a block environment. Okay, so the initial, we're going to be able to do this with NFS. We're going to be able to clone files in an NFS export without a backing snapshot that are going to be very space efficient. If you got a chance to go to the session yesterday afternoon that I referenced earlier, I think it was 2031, the one with Larry Touche. Then they went into all kinds of details about reference counts and shared blocks and all that kind of wonderful jazz. So it takes care of that. So because we're cloning stuff inside of a data store, we don't have to worry about making data stores visible. Once the functionality appears to make this possible with block-based storage, then we won't have to worry about the resignaturing issue, because we're not creating entirely new data stores. We're just creating data inside of a data store. Okay? But as it stands today, it still lacks the VC integration, and as a result, still moves provisioning to the storage team instead of leaving it with the server admins where it should be. Nevertheless, even given that, from what I have seen thus far as an outsider, this looks to be the most promising cloning technology that I've yet seen, and offers to revolutionize the way that we use VMware storage with NetApp. It's very revolutionary, so it's going to be very exciting to see how this continues to develop. All right. Deduplication. Is everything making sense to you guys so far? Okay. I figure I'm either doing a good job or I'm putting you to sleep.